strap on your rocket pack and get ready to fight some Nazis. This is our review of the Rocketeer, Fate of the Future.
The Rocketeer Fate of the Future is a card-driven tug-of-war game for 2 players that's inspired by the classic movie, and I couldn't wait to play this game.
I enjoyed this game, but I think a lot of that had to do with the nostalgia of the movie. I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much without the theming. We'll tell you more about it after this quick how to play. The Rocketeer is a 2-player game where one player represents the heroes from the movie and the other player represents the villains.
The game is played over the course of several rounds, the number of which is determined by the current event cards.
The hero starts off with 3 plan cards. One of the plan cards has the plans for the rocket, and the other 2 are dummy plans. The player will shuffle them up and then place them in front of each of their characters.
Each player is given a deck of action ability cards that they will use on their turn to take actions against their opponent.
During each round, players will play cards specific to each character until each character has had a turn.
Each player is trying to gain control of a location on the board so that they earn a bonus at the end of the round.
The player without the plans is trying to knock out the other player so that they can steal the plans.
Throughout the game, there are different ways for players to gain finale cards. Finale cards will give players points or conditions for points at the end of the game.
At the end of the game, the player with the most points wins. I know I was really excited for this game, mainly because of my nostalgia for the movie The Rocketeer. Growing up as a kid, I loved this movie.
Yeah, same. I don't remember all parts of the movie. I remember certain parts because I was pretty young when I watched it, but I think we saw this when we were at Gen Con, right? I'm like, ooh, that box looks real cool, and it's The Rocketeer. Personally, when we unbox it and we're looking at the pieces and it's like, man, very good production quality. Like they look really cool. But as soon as I got to this guy was a thing of nightmares when I was younger and watched the movie, because it was just, oh man, it brought back so many memories. I was like, oh my God.
I really enjoyed how they implemented the theming of the movie into the mechanics of this game. So how the characters move, you're knocking each other out to try to get the plans for the rocket. I like how the villains have Valentine on one side, or you could switch it over and then suddenly you had the Nazis, just like at the end of the movie. I think they put a lot of thought and detail into how the movie translated into mechanics of a board game.
The game really does seem to incorporate everything from the movie. From the plans trying to get stolen to the Rocketeer himself being able to move further once you get the rocket powered up. Even the fighting, right? I like how when you go after a character, they have this grit where it's almost like their hit points and you can increase them or decrease them and like knock someone out, but then you can do something else to kind of bring them back and then continue on trying to make your moves and dominate certain locations.
This is more of an action points game where you're having your cards and you're moving your character and performing the actions that you can, versus the deck building, because each player is given their full deck from the very start of the game. So it's not like you're going around trying to increase your deck and get better abilities. Each player starts off with their deck, and that's their deck throughout the whole game. They draw 7 cards at the beginning of the round. Some actions will let you draw another card as you can keep going, but for the most part, this is your deck. And because of that, there is a lot of luck of the draw. If you just happen to have all your good cards at the bottom and your opponent has all their good cards at the top, they're going to start off really well and get all those finale points, and then you're going to be falling behind. At the same time, maybe you'll come back in the end because of that, or maybe you just won't be able to do anything and then you just will hate the game. So the luck of the draw on the decks is a big downside to this game, although I do like the cards themselves because they have lots of cool artwork that is inspired by the movie, but the luck of the draw really does kind of diminish a lot of the fun factor while you're playing.
Reaching the end of the game will vary from game to game because it really depends on these current events. So whenever you play these, it really all determines when the blimp moves. And then once it reaches the end, that signals the end of the game. Some of these cards, however, won't move the blimp. So there is a chance that, luck of the draw, all the non-moving blimp cards are at the very top, and so it could be a long game.
The tug-of-war mechanic of this game, of moving back and forth, of I have the plans, you have the plans, I control this location, I knocked you out, you stood back up, you knocked me out, now you have the plans. It really works for how the movie works, as far as, all right, the bad guys are winning, the good guys are coming back, the bad guys are winning, it does work in that fashion. So I think that the theming helps me enjoy this a little bit more. However, if I wasn't applying my knowledge of the movie and the theming of this game to those mechanics, and we were just playing this as just a generic game, I don't think I would enjoy it as much. So the movie and the theming of The Rocketeer is doing a lot of heavy lifting with this game. I do enjoy the game. However, I do know that if it wasn't The Rocketeer, if it was something generic, I wouldn't really enjoy the mechanics of this game. It is kind of a bummer that it's only a 2-player game because I would like to play with more people, especially with the Rocketeer theme. I think each player could have had their own character and you could have got more involved in it rather than just being a 2-player tug of war type of a game. Because I used to watch the movie with my family, it was a big family thing, and so I feel like you should be doing more with this. Like you can get the whole family together and family can play with their kids, parents can play with their kids, just like you watch the movie with your parents and your kid, and everyone can enjoy it together versus just 2 people playing a game.
I just imagine we sit there with the pieces like, help me, Rocketeer, come save me. I mean, even though it's the bad guy, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah.
One thing I don't like at all about this game, theming or otherwise, are the finale cards. Some of the finale cards will just straight up give you points, which I appreciate and I get. The only way to get points in this game are the finale cards. However, some of the finale cards will give you stipulations or conditions that you have to get. So you'll get 2 points if you control the South Seas Club at the end of the game. So that's 1 location. So if you end up getting all stipulations on your finale cards, it's like, you need to control this location, this location, this location, and this location. Well, you only have 3 characters. There's no way you can do it unless you're the villain. So you're already at a disadvantage. Even if you're, I'm getting so many finale cards, but they all require things, and I don't have any points, and the other player only has a few cards, but they have all points guaranteed. It's really kind of a bummer at the end of the game. So I don't think that the way that they did the finale cards is something that should be implemented. I think I almost want to go through and just make it all points and just play the game that way. I don't know. The finale cards are one thing that really made me not like this game.
Yeah, when I was learning it and you were explaining the rules and yeah, okay, I got that. All right, make sure you get finale cards. But it's like, okay, it's the only way you can win the game. Make sure you get finale cards. He emphasized it, but still in my mind, I'm like, all right, so what do I need to do? Like get an army and you know, and then I saw him collecting all these finale cards. I was like, oh, I better get my act together. I think I gotta get finale cards. Overall, I had a lot of fun playing the game. It may be because of the nostalgia and how much I loved the Rocketeer growing up, but the production value really high marks for that. So I think that adds to why I enjoyed it. 2-player games overall, I'm not a huge fan, but I'll play it and I'll tell you when I have fun with one, and this one I did. Overall, I'd probably give it like a 6.
Overall, I really enjoyed this game because of the nostalgia. If that wasn't there, it would have got a lot lower score. Having said that, there's enough about the game that drives me a little bit crazy. Those finale cards, some of the luck of the draw, a couple other little mechanics here and there. So that really brings the score down. So nostalgia and then mechanics bring it back down. So I'm going to give it a 5. And that was our review of The Rocketeer, Fate of the Future.
What'd you think? Are you ready to soar your way to victory? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you're enjoying our content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
And I'm Kenny. Now go party like a board gamer.